Alright, peace, 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 peace. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, guys. Get subscribed. If you're already subscribed, you're not done. Hit the bell notification icon and make sure that you are completely tapped in so that you can get notified every time I drop new content. I need everybody to be on that, so make sure you guys do that now. One quick announcement before we jump into the content. 3-hour class number 1. As you guys know, I started from the beginning. The last class was the 13 things I learned as a new investor. And I've started a new series concerning my new walk and journey, the new knowledge, the new information that I've gotten, the understanding that I've gotten. So my new class number 1, the pitfalls of being a promiscuous male, is available now for all 3-hour class members, for all members on Patreon. And I also wanted to share it with more people, so I broke apart a 15-minute sample so that I can give it to a 17-minute sample to give to my basic members on Patreon. Then I also broke up a 40-minute sample that I gave to my platinum members, and then the full 3 hours is for the diamond members. So it's 3 hours and 1 minute total. It's high energy, the entire thing. I made sure this time I broke it up so that I can deliver just potent energy throughout the entire thing, where I'm not going too long and getting weary. I made sure I fleshed it out. All 3 hours solid energy throughout the course of the entire class. So if you want to get that, make sure you guys sign up for the Patreon membership so you guys can have access to that. Diamond members, platinum members, basic members all get a sample, but of course the diamond members get the full 3 hours, full presentation, full downloadable PDF. I put a lot into it, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you got it, drop a comment in the comment section, let everybody know how it was. So that's class number 1, the pitfalls of being a promiscuous male. Anyway, let's get into the main topic, the content. Today we're going to talk about the music you listen to can alter your soul. The music you listen to can alter your soul. So the first thing that I want everybody to take note of is that every action that we take in our lives tunes us, right? You ever hear about instruments, right? And sometimes an instrument is out of tune, and sometimes you either got to get a tuner or you got to go to a professional, and they'll tune your instrument to make sure it's in the right tune so that it's producing the right sounds out of the instrument, right? Now, our souls, our spirits, our bodies, our minds have a frequency, have a tone, and a vibration. So sometimes somebody's like, man, my mind is not clear. I'm not able to think clear, foggy, and all of these things because their mind is out of tune, right? So their mind is not in the right tune, so it's not producing clear thought, right? Sometimes somebody wakes up, they take a too long of a nap in the afternoon, and they feel groggy. They feel groggy, they're a little stuffed up, they're a little stiff, and they may have a little crank in their neck, and their body is out of tune. And because their body is out of tune, they can't function the way they normally would function. They can't run as fast as they normally would run. They can't lift as many weights as they normally would lift. Because they woke up on the not right side of the bed, and they woke up out of tune physically. They may have a little cramp or whatever it is, their body is out of tune. And one cramp in one area throws off the entire body, right? A crank in your neck affects your ability to think because you're not able to move your neck. That's on your mind. So sometimes somebody feels like they're praying and nothing is happening, right? Or they read spiritual things, but they read the Bible and they're not understanding it, or they're forgetting what they just read right after they read it, right? Oh, I just read this and I can't remember, or I can't understand what I'm reading, or I'm not holding on to information because their mind is out of tune. I'm praying and I'm not getting results. I'm not feeling a connection to God. Maybe their spirit is out of tune, right? So one of the things that's important is to ask yourself, am I in my proper tune, right? Am I producing clear music? Am I speaking is there clarity in my mind? Am I fluid in my physical movements? Do I feel a connection to that which is beyond the physical world? When I seek, when I pray, when I read the Bible, when I study, when I fast, do I feel this connection? Am I spiritually in tune? So one of the things that we have to do when we're not physically, mentally, or spiritually in tune is get ourselves into tune. You might be a little stiff, and some people might go to a chiropractor because they say, man, my body's out of tune. I need a chiropractor to crack a couple of my bones and crack my neck and get my body back into tune so I can flow and move like I normally do. Right? Some people go see a therapist. It's like they feel like mentally they're not in tune. They go see a therapist. They read a book. They study. Some people are meditating and stuff now. They're trying to figure out a way to get themselves back in tune. They feel like when they meditate, they're back in tune. Right? And of course, these are temporary fixes. Right? There's only one eternal fix. Right? There's only one eternal fix, and that's to be filled with the Spirit of God and to have a relationship with Him through His Son, right? That's the only eternal fix. But even those relationships still have to be nurtured. It's not, So one of the things I find is that a lot of people know that, all right, if I'm not physically strong, I have to go to the gym, I have to go jogging, I have to go lifting weights, and I have to remain consistent in that practice so that I can get myself physically in tune, so that I'm not gassing at work, so that I have more energy throughout the day, so that I have more stamina and endurance. To get myself physically in tune, I have to do physical activity to get myself physically in tune, right? And so I think that's a concept that pretty much everybody understands at some level. It's to get physically in tune. I do physical things. I'm overweight, out of shape. I have to eat cleaner, eat healthier, reduce my calorie intake, exercise to get myself physically in tune so that when I walk with my spine straight. So that I walk fluid and my motions are a bit more fluid and I'm a bit more consistent and I have a bit more stamina to get me through the day because I've gotten myself in tune. I tune my body through physical activity. I think most people understand that concept, right? I know people that can't read, but they're physically in shape because they need to feel, and I don't want to say can't read, but don't read well, let's say, or they're not very educated, but they understand the concept of tuning their physical body so that they can move and operate the way they want to operate physically, right? So you have most people understand that concept from the most sophisticated to the least sophisticated. They understand physical work improves physical performance, right? And a lot of people understand the mental way through reading, through studying, through expressing themselves, through doing creative acts, through some people like to go talk to a therapist or talk to somebody that they feel like these activities get them mentally in tune. Right? Mental health is a huge thing nowadays, right? Because so many people, what's going on in our world where so many people feel mentally out of tune. And I'm not saying mental health issues haven't existed since the dawn of time, but if you look at the amount of people that are on prescribed mental medication now, as opposed to some years ago, the amount of people that are taking their life now, as opposed to a few different years ago, the numbers are dramatically different, right? The amount of women and men, but a lot of women, because they're more impacted because men are stronger, period. And I don't mean that as an insult to women, but men are stronger. We got to just be honest about the facts here. So they're more impacted by that. So the amount of women that report that they're unhappy or that the studies that show the happiness of women is decreasing over time. And therapy is huge. They got companies that you can do therapy with through text messages and stuff now. So a lot of people are seeking self-help development and life coaches and dating coaches and all over the internet because everybody's trying to get mentally in tune. They feel like, when I listen to this, I feel more mentally in tune, right? So one of the areas that most people are not 100% sure about is how to get spiritually in tune. Because the spiritual side is the highest side, right? So everything trickles down from the top. So if you get your mental right, you'll have more motivation to do physical activity. Most people, they want to work out, but they don't have the motivation to do it. They want to exercise. They know what they got to do. They know they have to eat healthier. They know they have to diet and exercise, but they don't have the drive. They don't have the motivation to do it. They'll spend their days watching football, basketball, watching other people exercise instead of exercising themselves. They'd rather watch somebody else live than them live because something in them is not in tuned in such a way where they feel motivated to live for themselves. And so we have guys now that are making billions of dollars of letting people watch them play video games. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with any of these things. All I'm saying now is that we have a culture of watching other people live. Right? Our television sets, our cell phones, our computers, we have a culture of watching other people live. And what effect is this having on us? What does it do to you mentally, spiritually, when you're watching somebody else live more than you're living yourself? When you're consuming more than you're creating? When you're consuming more than you're giving and reaching out? When you're receiving more than you're giving? When there's no balance between those areas? What does that do to you? It makes you spiritually out of tune. Right? It makes you spiritually out of tune. You're violating something. You're making yourself spiritually out of tune. Right? You're being drowned out and given. If you pour too much water on a plant, it won't grow. Right? There needs to be a give and a take that's happening collectively together. You give, you go out and give, you share, you create, and you can consume some. There needs to be some balance there, right? So to the question of before, what's happening in the world that so many people feel mentally out of tune? That there's so much mental health outreach. What's happening now that there's so many people that's feeling out of tune? Right? So one of the things I wanted to tackle was, as I said, everything trickles from the top down. You can be the most in shape person physically in the world, but it doesn't necessarily translate to much mental. A little bit by being in shape, but it's not going to increase your vocabulary by exercising. Right? You may be a little bit sharper because exercise releases endorphins, and having your body in shape allows your blood to flow better, and more blood flows to your brain, and you are more equipped, right? Then you operate at a higher level. But it's not going to cause the neurons to fire faster or you to make connections faster. So when you correct the mental, you can develop more motivation to do the physical. But when you correct the spiritual, it trickles down and corrects the mental and the physical. Because when you're spiritually clean, you don't want to eat too many things that are unclean because it doesn't vibrate with your spirit. When you're spiritually clean, you don't want to consume too many things into your mind that are unclean because it doesn't vibe with your spirit. So you naturally eat better, you naturally diet, you naturally exercise because you feel out of tune spiritually when you don't do it because your spirit is clean. Right? So when I got my spirit clean, I could no longer fornicate. Because when I would try to fornicate when my spirit was clean, I felt spiritually out of tune. Right? You know, and so let's just start moving this thing into music, right? You know, there are these studies now that a lot of our music, and I'm sure all you guys know this is very common information now. It was once this big conspiracy, but most people have heard about it. There's apps that convert the music. But there was this thing where all music was converted to play at 440 megahertz, but that the natural sound and original sound of music, the sound of nature, was 528 megahertz and 432 megahertz. That was the original frequency by which music was played at. And when you would listen to music at that frequency, the music would put you more in harmony. It would tune you, right? And it's that's music in its proper tune. But they found that, and one of the places that's recorded, I don't think this is the first place, but it's one place on record, and this is what I've heard, right? I can't confirm or deny it, but it's purported that Nazi Germany was one of the first places that tuned their music to 440 megahertz, where all the instruments, and it's like even now, if you buy a tuner for your guitar, it tunes your guitar to 440. Everything is built around this 440 system. When you put your music onto iTunes, no matter what its frequency is, it tunes it to 440. So there was a time with this shift, and they said it was the first time it was done was in Nazi Germany because it would make the Germans more influential, more easy to be influenced by the propaganda that was going to be put forth, right? So one thing we got to understand is that some frequencies seemingly make good sounds. When you listen to the music today, you don't feel it's so. Now, the first time you probably tried to listen to it as a baby, maybe it didn't really gel with you the first time. But the more you get adjusted, you begin to be tuned at the same tune as the music. So after a while, it becomes normal to you, right? So one of the things that I wanted to discuss today is that one of the things about music is that I believe it has the ability to tune all three areas of the body at the same time, right? The rhythm of music can make your body move and your feet tap, right? It can make your body move. You could be tapping your feet to a song while you're texting and not even realize your feet was tapping, right? The lyrics of the music while your feet is tapping program your subconscious mind to tune your mind with the lyrics, right? You've seen people, I remember Prince said he doesn't play the song Darling Nikki anymore because it makes all the women lustful and the men lustful. There's rappers that'll tell you they don't play certain hip hop songs because once they play this certain song, everybody starts fighting. Because there's something about the beat and the rhythm in the lyrics that's tuning people's spirits to be inclined to act out violently, right? Right? And also the frequency of the music affects the soul. The unseen parts of the music, like sound frequency is invisible, right? It's something unseen, but we all know that it exists. It can be measured, right? So that frequency tunes the soul. Just as your feet is tapping, just as your mind is being filled with the lyrics and remembering lyrics and your mind is working, so is your spirit and your soul motioning according to the music that you're listening to. It's either opening up portals, closing portals spiritually based on what you're listening to. So I just wanted to talk about tuning our souls into is the music that you are listening to improperly tuning your soul, right? Is some of the activities that you're doing just become so normal to you that now it's just like 444 megahertz, although it's not the original, although it's not in tune with nature, although it's not what's best for you mentally, physically, and spiritually, we've got so accustomed to it that it's become normal, right? That it affects us gradually over time. We don't really feel the effects of it anymore. It just progressively affects us gradually over time. So as some of your life, as some of your activities just become normal for you, it's some of what we're doing in our lives. Because sometimes somebody could do something wrong once and they feel guilty about it. But after perpetuating in the same activity, they get numb and they don't feel it anymore. They become tuned to the frequency of that which they're doing. It's like when you walk into a room and there's a bad smell. At first it stinks and you don't want to be in there. But if you stay in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, you become tuned to the frequency of the smell so much so that you don't even smell the scent anymore. The scent just becomes the normal aroma that's in your nose and it no longer has a smell. It becomes a part of who you are. So I just want to ask you, how are you tuning your senses? Are your senses being tuned? What tuning is the music that you're listening to doing to your soul, mind, body, and spirit? What, and it's gradual, change is gradual, it's not fast. If you ever gained or lost weight, you know you didn't notice it until somebody else pointed it out. Oh, you look like you've been losing weight. You're like, for real? I feel the same. Because they can see you tuning before you see you tuning. So what is a lot of the prideful, arrogant, boastful hip-hop doing to you long term? Pride is a sin. Pride come before the fall. I had to learn that my own self. Right? It's a deadly sin. Right? It's boastful. It promotes the love of self, the boast of your own accomplishments, as if that means anything eternally. As if it doesn't get washed away and forgotten, and as if you are here to receive the benefits of it, even if it does get remembered. So that's the question I want to ask. And with the remaining time I have left, I just want to say beware of that. To beware that the music you're listening to is not mistuning your soul. Forget the frequency. What are the lyrics saying? What are these beats doing? What are these 4-pattern rhythmic beats that are keep going and over and over and over again, the same pattern doing to you when it's lulling your subconscious mind to sleep and injecting the lyrics directly into your subconscious? You know, a lot of those hip-hop patterns, it's the same pattern. It's that same drum loop over and over again. You think that keeps you alive or puts your mind, your subconscious to sleep so that whatever lyrics is coming through that song goes right in. So just think on that, meditate on that. And the last thing I really want to talk about before I go is how to properly tune your soul. Prayer tunes your soul. Worship tunes your soul. Fasting, afflicting your soul with fasting and prayer tunes your soul. So when you fast, when you pray, you are tuning your soul. So when fixing the spiritual, a lot of the mental gets corrected. And a lot of people think that they have mental issues, but they have spiritual issues because they're being tormented by spiritual things that they can't see or acknowledge. They're going to somebody to fix their mind, but the mind can't fix the spirit but so much. To cleanse your soul, to cleanse your spirit, to cleanse your mind, you fast. When you stop putting things in, you begin to cleanse what is in, and it pushes the unclean in out. So to tune your soul and your spirit, you fast and you pray. And when you fix your soul and your spirit, your mind and your body begins to correct itself as well. So that's my time, guys. As you guys know, my name is Eddie Fuse. I am a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I believe Jesus Christ was God in the beginning with the Father. He became flesh. He died on a cross for my sins. After living a perfect life, was buried for 3 days, and he resurrected from the dead after the third day by the power of the Holy Spirit that he gives us today in the baptism of fire. And that he revealed himself to people physically, and then he was taken back to the right hand of the Father where he sits today. I believe that. That's what saved my life. That's what changed my life. And there is power in that name. Forget what anybody else tell you. If you don't believe, you seek this for yourself. Get on your knees every day, 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes 3 times a day, and just seek God. Say, Jesus, if you're real, show yourself to me. Please reveal yourself so that I can know. Give me a sign. And I guarantee people want to deny things before they put the work in to find out if it's real or not. Put the work in yourself. Seek God for yourself diligently. Don't just say, oh, I don't believe that, just reading things on Google. No, actually put the spiritual effort in prayer and in fasting into seeking who the real God is, and you will get an answer. How much time have you put in truly seeking before you deny God? So that's my time, guys. Peace, 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 peace. I love you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, and just stick with it, man.